Alright, hey guys, what's up? So, I've been working on Revulsion 2, and I'm getting some progress in place. And I'm gonna go over some feedback first before I talk about what I'm showing off right here first, which actually might be pretty interesting to some people here. So, basically, over this stream tonight, I constructed a level design tool, or at least the very beginnings of a level design tool. Legos on Sim 4. So it's been a pretty good stream. I made a lot of progress tonight. So here's all the stuff kind of going over like feedback and everything like that. The identity thing is really an example, but it's kind of funny and it kind of it's just something like that. Ammo stamina sounds like an interesting idea. I have a implementation of it in mind though, where you still have to kind of manage ammo. So like you still have to reload your guns and stuff like that, like Borderlands. But when it runs out, when you run out of your full stock of ammo, that's when it goes on cooldown and takes like 5 to 10 seconds. And like maybe different guns have different cooldowns. Like maybe that could be like a cool bonus stat that a gun has is like, you know, negative 30%, cooldown time, ammo cooldown time or something like that. I don't know. There's kind of like a lot of different ideas like that. Monsters do not respawn. Yeah, they respawn in Revulsion fairly often. Um, Usually, yeah, a lot of people turn their music off and stuff like that, but I'm kind of thinking of having music more present. I know that was one of the bits of feedback that I end up getting all the time. Reduce reload cooldown reminds me of Warframe mods. Kind of. Except in Warframe, you can still run out of ammo. My idea is that you ultimately have infinite ammo. It's really about when and how you run out of ammo, and timing that and thinking about that because you can just get it all back instantly. You don't have to actually pick up anything. You have unlimited ammo. It's just you have to be conscious of when your ammo is going to go on cooldown and stuff. Um, More visual approach to UI go well with how Project Warlock looks. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So, I like the humor of killing a story writer and stuff like that. Yeah, that's definitely the case. There's actually one of the things that did come up though was regarding the level designing the entire game using Doom Builder, which ended up falling flat, and I ended up doing something else that's much better. And it also touches on another bit of feedback that I often see, or at least I've seen multiple times now, in regards to things like multiplayer and workshop, right? Well, um, I've had people request that they can make their own guns, that they can make their own monsters, and that they can make their own maps. Well, those things aren't really that hard to set up at this point in time. I think I actually kind of have an idea on how to do that. Um, or at least the maps so far. Um, those being the biggest things that have been requested, like some of the biggest things that have been requested and brought up, I thought, well, I was gonna just do everything with the Doom Builder, which might not include, level design tool. That's everything's kind of. I just did a 180 on that entire concept of doing everything in Doom Builder. Doom Builder didn't work out as well as I thought it would. The levels were hard to light. It was just kind of cumbersome and overly weird and not as good as anywhere near as good as what I'm about to show you guys very soon, right? I decided to not even bother going with the Doom Builder route and utilize something that I've already prototyped in the past and put it to use now, an in-game multiplayer level design tool. So, um, so I'm actually in the game right now. This isn't in the editor. Well, I'm technically in the editor, but you see how like there's another dude over here, and you see how like all these walls, floors, and ceilings and everything like that are all set up like this. Well, I'll show this in a little bit more in depth in a second, but um, Sumo Wish gave me some feedback here as well. Character class, people wouldn't take it very seriously. I guess that's kind of the reaction, but I think that if it's done in an edgy or weird way or a funny way, but ultimately speaking, I don't think it's going to be about playing a main character with a story. It's going to be about making a character that you can kind of customize yourself. So that kind of conflicts with the whole idea of having, like, character class. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it's a class, but I think honestly what everybody should just sort of be is a blank slate at the start of the game, and then as you level up, you modify the character to your liking as you play. Um, the graphics change is pretty much gone. I think pretty much that's about it. No missions of means individual levels. Yeah, there'll be goals you'll still be going through because you still have only one direction to go in general, but you will be able to revisit old places at any point in time and not have to worry about it, right? Um, Monsters do not respawn. Not sure about the duration. Better if they just stay dead. I actually agree with that because sometimes people will get stuck because monsters will just start spawning and stuff like that. So I actually agree. Like, while you're in a level, when the monster dies, I may explore other ideas too, where when a monster's killed, it stays dead forever for that, you know. But that might not be very good because you might want to grind monsters for a little while to level up or get loot or something like that. Um, Music, don't force it. Great music is great, but it should be used effectively. Boss or wave fights, introductions to new areas, maybe have special song or something like that. I was trying to go for more of the Dark Souls thing where, Dark Souls doesn't really have music very often, actually. It's mostly just ambience, but maybe I just didn't go strong enough with the ambience. But the thing is that I notice is that people who play Dark Souls versus people who play something like Doom, like VZ Plasma or something like that, they're kind of used to the idea of there just always being a song playing at all times, you know? You gonna play a little RimWorld? Alright. Night, man. So anyway, the hub, yeah, is definitely, I definitely want to keep the hub the same from the first Revulsion. Fast travel, pretty much on par. The Doom 2 movement, no opinion. It's pretty much the same thing you already experienced in Revulsion 1. A lot of the stuff in Revulsion 1 is just gonna come right over, barely changed. There's a lot of stuff, the way the guns feel, the general notion of, like, how the movement actually feels and all that jazz. Like, there's really a lot of stuff from the first Revulsion that's gonna just come right back in. Melee weapon. Curious how you would make it work in a shooter though. Um, it'll end up feeling a little bit like Hexen or Heretic or something, or Hexen, I think, where you just have a weapon with really short range that does a lot more damage up close or something like that. That doesn't actually consume ammo. Maybe its stamina works kind of more literally like the stamina in Dark Souls. Difficulty options are good. Death penalty, 5-second rewind is just a concept, but it doesn't seem good to me. I feel like you would lose a single thing. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's pushing things too far in the other direction. You see, now that the game is multiplayer, it might make sense for me to make the game more fucking brutal. Because now you have to coordinate with other people, which means that you have goals. You actually have a reason to play with other players. Oh, hey, what's up, Spider-Man? I'm recording a video at the moment, but I'll check it out as soon as the video is over. So, like, losing items, I don't know, like, I have to find a little bit of a better medium, but it might actually be kind of hilarious to think that maybe Revulsion 1's death penalty was fine if the game was actually multiplayer. Since it's not multiplayer, the harsh death penalty didn't force you to have to actually coordinate with your friends in order to beat the content. You know what I mean? So I might run into a situation where it's like, maybe I had it right, I just wasn't in the right scenario. I wasn't in the right situation. So yeah, there won't be any story. In fact, I'm probably gonna make fun of the fact that there's no fucking story. I want it to be humor. Monsters level with you. I was never a fan of this in RPGs. It feels pointless to level up. I might do some kind of a hybrid where some levels the monsters level up in a certain range. The Fallout 3 kind of did this, I think, where like the first time you visit an area, the monsters kind of they'll level up a few, a little bit more, but like you can outlevel them after a certain amount or something like that. I'm not really sure. That's all prototype stuff that I'll have to just see how it feels. And in all honesty, I have a feeling with this project, people are going to be involved with this project from the start to the finish way more than the first Revulsion, because and I'll show you right like after this what I mean by that actually. Um, Co-op scaling, yep. So that people can play together. Level cap rather than having a level cap at all, I would rather have a level cap and then some bonus stuff like Paragon levels from Diablo 3, stuff like that. I can definitely see that. And also too, I like the idea of like, new mission, raise the level cap another 20 point, raise it to 75 or raise it to 60 or something with expansions or whatever. Stat system, random stats, yes, worth the grind to get those perfect things. Definitely agree with that too. Crafting, okay, the option to spend more money materials to lock in a certain element or stats. I'll look into that. I haven't really gone into enough thought on that, but it's gonna definitely be in that range, in that realm of thought. Gear weapon stats could make for some very interesting builds. Yes, yep. So like, you can carry a gun that doesn't do as much damage, but the damn thing gives you like, a ton more something, more armor. Like this gun is giving me like higher hit points. Like maybe it's worth carrying it, just having it equipped as like a stat stick, basically. Gem slots. They're not really gem. I was gonna say no because I feel like gem should be higher tier. Um, not being able to upgrade. It's not so much gem slots. I'm using the term sort of as a like a yeah. You could increase mob HP damage and loot drop rates based on the number of players involved. Yeah, there will definitely be something like that. So that makes it so like there's a reason for people to play together. Now, when I say gem slots, I'm really just saying that there are slots that you can just put anything into them. So like you can have like I have a increase fire rate thingy, all right, and I can trigger like a fast trigger thing, and I can like put that into my gun, which increases my fire rate or decreases my fire rate or something like that, or trade off, or you know what I mean. So you can kind of customize the weapons that you have with additional parts, and also when you dismantle, sometimes you get those parts back and stuff like that. There's like a whole element there of like being able to kind of build and modify the weapon. So like you add plus 10 fucking fire damage to your pistol or something like that. Like they're just slots that just change and modify the way the gun stats actually are. Is really all it means. And it's the same thing for gear. Make gear you have equipped give you a flat percentage damage taken decrease, but gear breaks faster. That's not so much. Like I said before, the way it's going to work is when you have a lot of armor, that determines how much of your health pool is protected. So you'll have like in an ideal situation, most of your health bar will actually be yellow armor bars, right? It's still the same amount of health you had before, and all of those armor bars will have that specific damage reduction that you have applied to your character at that level. So like, a really good armor set, you're taking like, it's reducing how much damage is incoming by like, I don't know, 60% or something like that. So you get that bonus all the way down until you end up having just white health left over. So you want a high defense because it makes it so that you take less damage when you take damage in the yellow bars. But if you don't have enough armor, then your armor will break faster, so to speak, right? Attribute system, yes, with respect. Yeah. In fact, I'll probably make respecking like fairly straightforward and like not even cost anything. I've always hated a cost to respect, but separate attribute and skill tree with skills requiring. I have no idea. That is a completely new territory for me. But yes, this is all really good feedback. Thank you, by the way. Um, so let me show off what I've got so far because it's actually something to talk about in regards to the whole like. Oh wait. Was there one more thing? Let's see. All right. I'm probably gonna reply to Alleycat in a different video because he has a completely different thing, and at this point, I think the video is already up to 50 minutes. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show off the multiplayer, the idea of how I'm doing the multiplayer level design tool. So you'll notice that I'm in a world right now that has nothing in it. In fact, I can go ahead and I can delete all this. Also, too, I have been experimenting with the art style. I at first experimented with doing, higher res textures that were more comic booky, and I tried doing much lower res, pixel arty, very Project Warlocks inspired art style. And unfortunately, I don't think these are gonna. I think this is just gonna win. I think this it's easier to do. It's much more manageable. Like, so I'm thinking that I'm definitely going in this direction when it comes to the art style. I'm probably gonna be doing the pixely stuff. Like even when I was kind of just messing around with a lot of this stuff over here, like I tried going this route and it feels too much like. I don't know, like it's gonna be too hard to make it look good. It actually ends up looking lower res. It honestly kind of just looks weird. Like, also too, I think people are more used to this in general. One of the main things that I've run into a lot is that people are not quite used to a lot of the things that I tried to do in Revulsion. Like the way the music doesn't always play, and if they're in the first-person shooter genre, like something like this is way more common, and trying to do something like this is just pretty high risk. And I think maybe it's a good idea that I try this. I'm gonna probably try this for a little bit. I'm getting better at it. I know how to do it now. Like, I designed this myself. So yeah, with that said, so over here is the origin of the world, and if I right now you'll see that I have the ability to place floor pieces and stuff, right? So like, let me zoom out a little bit, and it's also not always on the grid. Okay, so it's actually possible to make really weird stuff with this because it doesn't have to be a blocky kind of Minecrafty thing. It's like it's inverse Minecraft, which is really weird. So let me go to here. So you see I have multiplayer set up. Multiple people can work on the same map at the same time. And one of the things that I'm kind of planning to do is set up hey Brocho Max, thanks for the lemon. Is set up a system where I can do live streams and stuff like that, where people can work on the same maps together. We can work on, like, I'll probably do streams where, like, I'll get a group of people together on Discord and we'll actually like build maps, and it saves it to a file, and the maps that I build, people will be able to open them up and look at them and fly around them in them and stuff like that, and actually see everything that I did. And also too, I want to try, so I want to try, like, I don't know, making it really accessible and just possible to build any kinds of like interesting stuff. And this is still very early right now. I literally just got it working tonight. So I think this beats the shit out of trying to build everything in Doom Builder. That's for sure. And I'm actually really glad that I already had a prototype of this already set up, because I just brought it right in and it seems to be working pretty well. So the idea is you place these diamonds, right? These diamonds are called designations, and the designation can then, when you're not in designation placement mode, it'll you can look at it like this, and what it'll do is a menu will pop up because you're looking at it, and you'll be able to be like, add a wall, add a floor, add a ceiling. You know what I mean? Or you'll be able to just like add additional objects into this, and it could be like any of them from a menu. Like it could be entire rooms too, like prefabs and all kinds of neat stuff like that. So like you can actually place like um, numerous different objects using the designation. So I could put a statue and be like, I select the statue and then I rotate the statue so that it's on this wall over here. And then maybe I want to put a couple of pillar pieces. So there's a pillar here and there's a pillar over here, and it just looks like the wall has like trim on it now and stuff like that, right? And there's yeah, like, and this could all be happening together, and you can see the other person like building stuff too. And there's all kinds of neat stuff. Like I don't even know where to begin as far as like being able to explain everything. In fact, uh, it's gonna take a little bit of time to really iron out everything and just kind of go over all of the little details. But um, it we'll probably have something that's somewhat usable and something that's kind of fun to work with fairly quickly. Now I'm probably gonna be working pretty hard on this too. So, but yeah, like this is also, by the way, unofficially, I already have movement for the Doom character. The Revulsion 2 character. Like I have a Revulsion 2 character, uh, moving around and everything like that. So I guess officially I have um, a little bit of the Revulsion 2's gameplay already kind of panned out. Um, Another thing, I guess I end up kind of forgetting what I'm supposed to say whenever I'm recording. It's like so much easier when I'm just streaming because I just talk. But with that said, there's let's see. I'm trying to think. Maybe it's because I'm trying to talk too fast or something like that. Honestly though, I really do think that um this is like way better than what I had before, and people will be able to build their own maps, and I guess there could be a thing around that. It'll use the same system for other people as well. Um, all right, I don't know if I'm forgetting anything. Am I forgetting anything, guys? I think there was some other stuff too, like, well, oh shit. Stop that. No, that's wrong. Yeah. So like wherever it one of the challenges with the editor is that when you you have overlap like this, I'll have to have like special floor pieces that can be used that are like raised up slightly so that it avoids the Z fighting issue. And then I can have like ways to like fill this in right here. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of neat techniques. I can have like a pillar piece or a block or some kind of a wall piece that would go right here to make it so that you don't have to build these like uniform grids. You can actually make the levels fairly organic. You don't have to make sure that everything lines up in a certain way. It's just a different way to do a lot. To do something like this. It's oops. Yeah. See. That's basically it. So you place the designators and then you choose which meshes and which pieces, like enemy spawn points and everything like that. So there's one detail. Okay, this is what I was trying to remember before. When somebody's working on the map, it may be possible where somebody can be playing the level and like somebody goes in and they grab their character with all their loot and everything like that. Yeah, multiplayer, different size objects. Um, you'll actually be able to modify the level while somebody's playing it. So that's something that I didn't really have before. So like, for example, I could actually have like a stream. I can stream where somebody's playing my level, and they're testing it, and I'm flying around watching them play, and then I could be like, oh shit, there's a bug over here. You know what I mean, or something like that. Like, and since it's like a looter shooter too, it's like a doomy looter shooter. They're still getting loot. They're still getting like cool shit. Um, I don't know. Like, I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot to be said going this route in terms of building it. I like the designation markers because they also allow me to do stuff like, so this designation area. So you see how like there's a grid, there's a box around it. I can change the gravity of this little tiny area. I can make it so that it's underneath slime. I can do, so like, you can swim in water. I don't know. There's actually quite a bit. I don't really think that this is a very limited system at all. In fact, this probably might be kind of competitive with a lot of other games that have tried to do similar systems where they they simplify the process of level design. You know what I mean? Now, the reason why I'm placing it and there's always a wall and everything like that is just because I'm messing around. The way to place the wall would be to get out of the diamond placement, the designation placement mode, and then look at the diamond, and then automatically a menu will pop up, and then you can kind of tab into it and get control of your mouse, and you'd be like, okay, so I'm just gonna, I'm gonna add a wall here. I'm gonna rotate the wall. I'm gonna, yeah, like I'll get that. I'll put in, maybe there's a slime pit underneath, so I won't have a floor, and then I'll put another diamond underneath, right? So I'll put a diamond down here, right? And then I'll select this diamond, and I'll be like, okay, this one has slime, so this, all right, checkbox, takes damage while in it, you know what I mean? And then I'll put like the slime, or like, fluid node thingy here, and you can swim in it and stuff like that. So like, and there could even be things too where I don't know, maybe elevators, and who knows, like there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's really, this guy's kind of on the limit with this kind of a system. This can be pretty effective at everything that I need it to do for a pretty decent game, and also it's a collaborative level design tool. So there you go. All right, these are the very early days. I think it's a good idea for me to end the stream now, or the video, not the stream. Keep in mind, I've been streaming pretty much every day. I don't know how long I'm going to be doing it every day, but it's been pretty consistent. So if you want to check out me working on this stuff, feel free to come in and all that. So this is a 27-minute video. I've been talking for 27 minutes. Sorry. All right. There's a lot to say. There's a lot of neat stuff. Stay tuned. Remember that any kind of help that you can help me, if you want to see this project, completed and everything like that. Any kind of help, show up on the stream, toss some donations at me on stream, or even just buying the game is a good way for me to to keep working on this kind of stuff. So, I mean, if this looks promising to you, then yeah. Well, that's that. All right, take it easy, guys.